Hello, aquarium enthusiasts, fish keepers. I'm Mike, and before I show you how I make my own KNO3, I want to share with you three things that I think are very important when it comes to dosing fertilizer in any planted aquarium. Okay? Number one, you should never dose an aquarium that is newly set up. Meaning, if the aquarium is less than 3 to 5 months old, depending on the amount of plants that you planted, you should never even be dosing that aquarium. You should let the plants settle in and start to establish roots and just generally adapt to the environment before you start dosing. Why? During this period, they will not be taking advantage of that fertilizer. So who will be taking of that advantage of that fertilizer? You know, algae will be taking advantage of that fertilizer, and you will end up with a disaster of a tank. So a lot of people quit even before they started because they are expecting to be able to make a lush aquarium, but they end up making a filthy algae filled aquarium. So never dose an aquarium that is not yet established. So that is one. Two, know your water. You should have somebody, if you have a friend in the community, the aquarium community that has a water test kit, or ask them to, if you live in the same city, just ask them to test the tap water. Because other fish keepers in other countries are so fortunate because the water that comes from the tap is pure. But here in my city, in the Philippines, we have 20 to 30% ppm nitrates already in our tap water. So when you do your water changes, you are essentially already dosing your tank. And when you are adding fertilizer on top of that, so you are adding a lot of nitrates already in the water. So again, algae, if the plants cannot take advantage of all of that nitrate, algae will be the one to take advantage, and you will have problems like cyanobacteria or green dust algae on the glass, and even BBA. So know your water. And if you have a lot of nitrates in the water already, maybe you can just skip with the nitrate and just dose with potassium. Third, and that is always dose, you know, gradually. Meaning, whatever fertilizer you decide to use, whatever the dosing instruction is, always try to have that, and just increase as you go along. Do not immediately send it and dump fertilizer there. See what happens. Let's say this week I'll only have those, and see what happens for, no, not 1 week, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and see what happens, and say, oh, I think I can add more, and then just from there is go on. It's a learning curve, and eventually you'll figure it out. Remember, there is an adage in aquarium keeping, fish keeping, the balanced aquarium. No, that is the term before that we used to keep on say. Meaning, you need to find the equilibrium wherein your bioload versus the livestock and the amount of plants that you have in the tank are living harmoniously within each other. So you do not get excess nutrients, you do not get algae, you do not get all the nasty things. So you have a healthy ecosystem in your aquarium. So that's it. I know there are probably more. A lot of the people viewing this will have a lot of other comments and maybe violent reactions to what I'm saying, but those three things alone will already be a lot and help you. Now, let's proceed with the video, and I'll teach you how to make your own KNO3. Okay, so we will need a digital weighing scale. This is, it makes it convenient. You also need your KNO3, which you can buy online. You will need some distilled water. Yeah, that's fairly easy enough. And some kind of container, something that is non-opaque, and a mixing bowl, just to, mix everything. And let's start it. For the amount of chemicals that we will be using, we will be referring to Aquapros mixture, which is dosing per 10 gallons of aquarium. We'll be using KNO3 and we'll be mixing a solution of 500 ml. And each dose will be 2 ml. So this is on rotala butterfly, and we input everything, and we arrive at 8 ppm per dose. And that 8 ppm will contain 8 ppm, no, 1.8 ppm of nitrate and 5 ppm of potassium. So this is ideal because it will not overload the system, and I think it's a very safe dosing regimen. So to recap, we have to calibrate first our weighing scale because each time we turn it on, we have to calibrate it to zero. There you go, it is zero. So now we can begin. We can commence scooping our KNO3 and weighing 123.44 grams. That was per our computation. So this is our KNO3. You can get this easily online. I mean, on here in the Philippines, in Lazada and in Shopee, it is very, very much available everywhere. So it is not a problem. So I go ahead and I start to measure out until I reach my 123.44 grams goal. Now, even if you go over or under, I don't think it's that critical, to be honest. So, yeah, don't. It's hear me. I'm just trying to reach that target, but it's not really that necessary. Also, I noticed with my KNO3, it does not dissolve right there and then with the distilled water. I don't know why that is because on the Aquapros video, he manages to dissolve it easily. I don't know if it's the quality of my KNO3, but yeah, I use this mixing bowl and I pour my distilled water in it, all 500 ml into this mixing bowl. And I will attempt, I will mix, I will not attempt, I will mix my KNO3 in the solution. I'm trying not to make a mess, of course. Okay, so there you go. It's everything in there. Now, remember when I said that my KNO3 doesn't exactly like to dissolve perfectly on the solution? It takes a lot of stirring and whatnot, to get it just halfway dissolved. But anyway, it's not really technically needed. And I've been doing this a while with this KNO3, and I'm still getting very, very good results. So don't worry about it. It's not exactly going to ruin everything, and it's not a problem. I read somewhere a while ago that, this mixture is photoreactive and that you'd require a container that is exactly non-opaque. I don't know about that, but anyway, I have this container that is fully non-opaque. So I will pour some of my mixture here, and on the original distilled water bottle, I will be using that first. Look closely at the mixing bowl, you can still see chunks there, but really I don't worry about that. I'll just pour that inside my absolute bottle, or Absolute bottle, I'm referring to the brand of the distilled water that I have. Yep, still not dissolved. I'll try to get as much of this in there. You may or may not have the same problem when you're doing this. I don't know. Maybe it's just the KNO3 that I have on hand that's doing this. Anyway, we need to move forward. And in order for me to not forget how much KNO3 is in here, I made these labels, strapped it in the containers, just to remind me of how much is exactly in there so I don't, you know, forget or for future reference. And now,
Okay, so now we will talk about dosing. Now, what I like to do is I get me one of these syringes and I take 2 ml since the dosing was for 2 ml. I measure out exactly 2 ml, and whatever container I have, in this case it's this one, remember this one I made. I check to see how much the cup can contain. That this is 2 ml because of the graduations on the syringe. We measure. I like to take the cup. And try to see how much can this actually hold. So I'm pouring it in here, and look, it's a perfect 2 ml. So I know that a cup full of this is going to be good for 10 gallons. Now this tank is 27 gallons, but I'm just going to go ahead and I am just going to dose for 30 gallons. So it's going to be 3 cupfuls of this. There. So you see, why not use the syringe? You just measure out 6 ml. Well, you can always do that also if you prefer, but sometimes in a pinch, when when you get up in the morning, you have to go to work, and then when you take out a syringe and you measure out, it's just extra work. Whereas you can just take the cup and measure out 3 cupfuls, and that's it, and you can be on your way. Now, as a bonus, I'm going to show you something else. How to make your own potassium fertilizer. Now, just like the KNO3, you can buy this. This is water soluble potassium. And how much do you add? Well, I have one of these. This is the Seachem Flourish, and if you look closely at the label here, it says 50,000 milligrams per liter. Now, I'm not sure why they would use milligrams. Maybe it's the intent to bloat and have a really big number here, but this is just 50 grams per liter. So you take 1 liter of distilled water and you add 50 grams of potassium. So that's it. Repeat the process that I showed you how to make the KNO3, and instead use potassium. Now, both are available online in any, one of those. In here in the Philippines, it's Lazada. I believe in the States you have Temu, you have Amazon, and we also have Shopee here, and all of those will sell you the fertilizer. So there you go. And with regards to the potassium, I follow the dosing of the Seachem, and basically that's it. And a reminder is always to dose in small increments, and do not, go full blast, and observe. Yeah, what happens? Is it enough? Is it not enough? Whatever adjustments you need to make. Okay, and that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. It would really help me grow my channel. And happy fish keeping and aquascaping. See you on the next one. Bye.